We're back on the Bank of the West pregame show, live from Dreamstyle Arena, the Pit. Fence, UNM Athletics and Valley Fence proud to partner up, try to end hunger throughout the state of New Mexico. For every block during Lobo men's basketball, every sack during Lobo football, every strikeout by a Lobo baseball pitcher, Valley Fence makes a donation to the Roadrunner Food Bank. All right, time for the coaches' comments. Here's Lobo head man Paul Weir. Paul, the Lobos are hosting Nebraska, Omaha, inside Dreamstyle Arena, the Pit, and I want to talk about them. But first, let me just say, wow, the opener, even better than you expected?
We shot the ball well, and sometimes when you do that, it makes things look pretty easy out there. You go into games, and you obviously want to have a really good quality of shot on offense, and you want to minimize the quality of shot of the opponent. And we got very good quality of shot, which I think we've done a lot of this kind of preseason or this early part of the year. We just haven't maybe made them at the clip I would have liked, and it was good to finally see them all go down, especially in a real game here at home.
18 of them, though?
That's the plan. I mean, we made 17 in our scrimmage, the week before. So I think we felt like we knew it was coming. And I think based on our attempts against BYU, we hopefully could have been right there as well as far as where it's going to go. So I think, we go into each game and we talk a lot about we're just going to take what the defense gives us. If that means tonight's going to be a big night for Sam or a big night for our shooters or a big night in a certain area, we're going to allow that defensive team to dictate that, and they happen to be a team that was going to kind of give us the shot, and we were able to knock them down.
Lobo head coach Paul Weir is alongside. You mentioned attempts, and that led right into the next question I wanted to ask, which is the number of attempts through the BYU exhibition, through the opener, through your closed scrimmages. Is it where you want it in terms of the three-point opportunities?
It is. I mean, we watch our three-point shots after every game, and we talk about the ones we like, the ones we'd like to have back. And when we watch the ones from this game, I mean, pretty much every one is one we'd take. There was probably 4 or 5 that maybe were ill-advised or whatever. I think against BYU, we probably took more that we shouldn't have than we should. And ironically, we passed up a lot of really good ones against BYU. So it's about taking the right shot. I think the attempts numbers probably for us going to end up being around the same. But as time goes on, if teams guard us a little differently, then we'll adjust and maybe not shoot as many as we have been right now. But if right now a lot of our perimeter players, if they're open and their feet are set and it's past them, they all have the green light to shoot.
You've taken a lot of questions about forcing turnovers with your pressure defense. Maybe not as many about the turnovers that your team might commit because of the pace with which you play. Mm-hmm. What is sort of the acceptable neighborhood in terms of that? We're going to push it. If we have a few of these, that's okay. But if we kind of get over this threshold, maybe that's too many.
That's a great question, and really we haven't had a turnover issue yet. BYU, we didn't have one. Our 2 scrimmages, we didn't have any. This last game against Northern was the first time we turned it over, and it was just a bad first half. I think we had 10 at the half, and Chris and Antono combined for 7, and they just, as point guards, can't make those kinds of decisions and turn it over like that. We watched all our turnovers again yesterday. I don't think it's going to be a big issue for us because we do have so many good offensive ball handlers on the court at one time, so it hasn't been a pattern or a trend yet. If it continues to be one, then we're going to have to maybe make some changes. But for now, I'm hoping it was just a first home game jitters anomaly, and we did some things out of character a little bit with some jump passes and different things that I think we've cleaned up, and I hope going forward it's not something we have to worry about.
Lobo head coach Paul Weir is alongside. You mentioned your point guards. Let's start with Chris McNeil, Western Kentucky, then to JC, to the University of New Mexico. I remember when I first asked you about him, you said he's not your standard JC transfer. This is a top-level Division I point guard. How fortunate are you to be able to get him to help run your team in your first year?
Really lucky to have both those guards, to have a 1,000-point scorer come in from a very successful program at Akron, and Antono's great, and to bring in someone like Chris, both of them, to get them both in the same year. I knew when I got here we really wanted to improve our guard play, and to have someone like Chris and Antono back there just makes my life a lot easier and makes me look like maybe a much better coach than I am.
24 points, 10 assists. Chris McNeil, double-double is something that is, conceivable, achievable every night?
Yeah, I think the way we share it, hopefully, we have a very kind of equal opportunity offense. The goal on every possession is for everyone on the floor to touch the ball. So going into a particular game, we don't know if it's going to be Chris's night or Dane's night or Anthony's night or Sam's night. We don't really know. It's going to be based on how the defense plays us. And it happened to be that Chris got a lot of really good open looks, and he's probably the biggest gym rat we have, and I'm really glad he's able to get open and kind of get going. His junior college season. Took him through about his 5th or 6th game to really get into a good flow. And this is about where we're at now, I think, coming into us. When you add our exhibitions and scrimmages and everything, I'm hopeful that he's going to have a really good year.
Let's shift gears. This particular game is the Nike N7 game. It is Native American Heritage Month, and you guys are celebrating that with the turquoise uniforms. This is a very important night for Lobo basketball.
Very much so. You know, the one thing I've learned just since I got to Albuquerque and UNM was just all the different constituencies that are just so vital to this program and really to Lobo basketball. There's so many fans and so many different types of fans that I'm kind of learning about. And obviously the Native American community is pivotal to that. It was part of the reason we were really interested in adding Matt Vail to our program, just because I think he resembles this kind of local population as much as, you know, a student athlete from an Albuquerque high school or anywhere else around the state. I'm sorry, we got a dunk competition going on down here. No, honored to be a part of it. Really glad that Nike gets behind something like this. Really cool to be a part of just kind of a neat initiative like this, and hopeful that the Native American community, you know, enjoys it as well. What do you think of the alternate color, the third primary color, turquoise, a traditional color for UNM going back to the 70s? I think it's awesome. I'm all about different and trying new things, and, you know, to bring in another color to me is just something cool and neat that we can hopefully generate a little bit of excitement with. So I'm excited to use it, and hopefully we'll be able to use it into the future as well. All right, so UNO, Nebraska Omaha, or Omaha, Give us a little snapshot and what you expect from them. You know, traditionally have been a very high-paced offensive team. They've been one of the top teams in the country as far as offensive tempo goes, meaning they have a lot of offensive possessions, and they shoot very early in the shot clock. So, you know, their offensive transition is pretty potent. They lost a really good post player from last year, so they're more perimeter-oriented this year, although they do have a really good player in 44 Hahn he's an outside-in guy. They have been playing a little bit down on the post. So, you know, how we press is going to be really interesting to see what they do at the back of the press, if they're going to kind of take those quicker shots like Northern New Mexico did, or whether they're going to want to kind of get into their offensive flow from there. So we're looking forward to kind of doing things, and that's the neat part about our defense and the style that we're doing is going against new people that run new things is an opportunity for us to kind of make our defensive package better, and we really can't do it until we go against someone. You can't really simulate what we do defensively and against ourselves. We can only do it against potentially what someone else will try and do to break it. So Omaha's new because they're going to run a lot of middle ball screens in the middle of the floor, which we haven't gone against yet, and just some actions in the half court that we haven't done either. So we're practicing it, and hopefully we'll be able to do a good job executing against it in the game. I wanted to also, before we wrap up, ask you about Drew Drennan. You're able to sign him in this early signing period. He's an Atlanta area kid who's prepping in Florida. Tell us about him and your first signee for your next class. Yeah, I mean, we were just talking about Chris and Antono, and he's a perfect fit because he's just like them. And with Antono graduating, I felt we needed another just ball-handling guard to come into this program that can handle the ball, that can shoot the ball, that can play either with Chris or behind Chris, and really just kind of continue to develop our program. I think he fits in really well defensively because he can be just like Chris and Antono and pick up the ball in the full court and really pressure and fit into our defensive style of play. And he fits in offensively because he can shoot the ball so well and handle the ball like we want all our perimeter players to do. So he's a perfect fit for our program. In addition to that, he's an almost 4.0 GPA. He's a tremendous young man with a great head on his shoulders, tremendous family, and really excited to add him overall. He's just a great fit for what we're trying to do. All right, Coach Weir, thank you so much. Best of luck against Omaha. Thank you. Thanks for having me on.
Those are the coach's comments with Lobo head coach Paul Weir. We step aside on the Bank of the West pregame show. More to come after this timeout. It's Lobo basketball from Learfield. Time to select our Subway sub of the game. It's brought to you by Subway Restaurants, and it is none other than Troy Simons. Simons did not start here tonight. It did not matter. He was unstoppable, in particular in the second half. He had a modest first half, 2 of 7 floor, 2 of 6 distance, 8 total points, 3 boards in the first half, 2 offensive and 2 assists. In the second half, it was all Simons all the time. He finished with 24, a game high. He went 6 of 11 from the arc, 8 of 16 overall from the field, 2 of 2 at the line. He had 5 boards, 3 offensive, finished with 4 assists and 4 steals as he comes off the bench and erupts. Troy Simons is your Subway sub of the game. Brought to you by Subway Restaurants. They keep you going on and off the court. Stop in today. Your Subway sub of the game is Troy Simons. 103-71 is our final score. And we want to remind you, Albuquerque Downs Racetrack and Casino is your home for winning entertainment, including simulcast racing. The Lobos win 103-71. Back on the post-game show after this. Lobo basketball from Learfield. Okay, time for us to select our P&M Reliable Player of the Game. If you're listening in the last segment, when you've already heard his name, the game changer for the Lobos tonight was none other than guard Troy Simons. Logwood catch the inbound. Feeds McNeil. Out high to Mathis. Right wing for Simons. Three. You bet. Oh, man. The Lobos are on fire from three here in the second half.
Got a little rhythm going as that ball just swings around the horn.
Simons with 22. Simons with a strip. Simons to the rim. Simons with a right-hand hammer. 24 for Troy. Lobos 90. Omaha 62. Yeah, there was a sequence there where it was the Simons show, yep. Wasn't it? He is the P&M Reliable Player of the Game, Troy Simons. P&M delivers reliable energy to you 24/7. P&M is committed community partners. We're adding cleaner resources, including more solar and wind energy. We're working to build a strong, sustainable energy future for New Mexico. Talk to us at pnm.com, where you can manage your account and learn more about how to save money on your electrical bill. We break. Post-game show continues after this. Lobos 103, Omaha 71. Lobo basketball from Learfield. We're back on the Lobo basketball post-game show live from Dreamstyle Arena, the Pit. The Lobos 103, Omaha 71 is the final. Our post-game coach's comments with Lobo head basketball coach Paul Weir. Coach Weir, first off, congratulations. Your team reaches the century mark again. And let me start with the second half and the barrage of threes. Cold shooting in the first half. Something changed in the second half. What was it?
Yeah, I mean, I think we got better looks. I thought in the first half we were shooting some threes. A lot of them were contested. You know, they had some hands in the air. They weren't great. And I thought in the second half, I mean, we talk a lot about horse shots when we watch our threes after the game. Anytime it's a horse shot, meaning no one's around you, you're wide open, 2 feet set and shoot it. Let's do it. And we just got a lot more of them in the second half, and those go down more than the ones with a hand in your face. So I think it was more maybe just a cumulative effect of the game and maybe the wearing down of their defense as opposed to anything creative or exciting that we did.
Yeah. Coach, I was looking at the stats. You guys lead now every category other than turnovers, but there's one category that they beat you in, and that was fast break points.
Sure.
Talk a little bit about how they were able to score so many
fast
break
points. I thought
points.
early in the game, I was talking to Kevin Mackey a couple days ago, and he's kind of the one that originated this defense a long, long time ago. And we were talking a couple days ago about the back of the press, and it's really just about us making adjustments, And he's like, look, you're going to get scored on in a press. Okay. That's the reality of it. It's a chess match, and you've got to continue to evaluate how they're doing it and change it up. And we did some things at halftime that I thought really changed it in the second half. They were beating us, and getting down and getting some really good looks at the rim early in the game. And then I thought as the game went on and we made some subtle adjustments to some positions of some guys, we weren't, they weren't able to kind of get down and get the easy stuff they were getting earlier on.
I noticed the first half, they were able to force you to that half-court game.
Yep.
Your thoughts, how you handled it, and because from here,
agreed.
Looking at it, I saw that they were overplaying. You guys had some backdoor action, but
exactly.
You just didn't recognize that or didn't make the adjustments.
Yeah, no, we were trying to kind of hold something in our back pocket for the future, but we had to kind of bring it out a little bit. So we were trying to work through it, but eventually we're like, you know what, we're going to have to start using this. It's a different kind of look in our offense, and we got to that, and I think it opened up the game. And then we went back to our, earlier offense. It just looked a lot better. We just had to kind of mix it up. We didn't want to go there. We've been trying to hold some things for some future games, but we had to kind of dig it out a little bit to make sure we were successful tonight.
We have Coach Weir with us. Our coach's comments from Dreamstyle Arena, the Pit. Paul, it took the Lobos 9 games to reach 35 three-point field goal makes last year. Mm-hmm. It took 2 games to get to that threshold this year. We talked about the three-point shooting in our pregame show when you and I sat down. You mentioned the quality of the three-point shot being such a big thing. It does seem like your guards are able to recognize where the shooters are. And then tonight, I thought we saw a bunch of great post passes out to three-point shooters.
No question.
In particular.
Yeah, we talked a lot about that going into the Northern New Mexico game of being able to play inside out and get the ball to Sam and get the ball to Joe and get the ball to Vlad. And in that game, they happened to be scoring a lot. They weren't really doubling the post. Tonight, when Omaha went small, we were trying to get the ball inside, and they haven't doubled the post, but they started doubling the post, which is great because we're able to move it and kind of get open looks. And Sam's really good at kind of reading from the post whether to attack or whether to kick out. And it's just kind of hopefully another level to our offense where we'll be able to get good looks at the rim.
Those inside outs seem to bring that rhythm
Agreed.
that you needed in the second half to knock down those threes.
Yeah, and the beautiful thing about those is everyone gets to touch the ball,
Yes.
you know, and I love offensive possessions where everybody touches the ball. We talk about that a lot. I thought early in the game we just rushed some shots, you know, and it was Sam took an early quick shot to start the game, and Ant took one, and we were taking quick early shots, and we weren't getting in a good rhythm because everybody wasn't touching the ball. And we talk about that a lot, just getting through possessions where everyone gets to get a feel for it, and then let's go from there. So I think that's the great thing about post feeds. It's not to score, it's so everyone can keep touching the ball.
I did hear you several occasions in the first half say, run the offense. Those quick shots were
exactly
that, where you didn't get the offense initiated?
No question. Yeah, I think we just kind of got a little out of character. Guys got a little excited, kind of felt it a little bit, and took some quick ones that they shouldn't have taken. And, you know, offense to me is about decision making. I'm never going to really go over the top on a guy for offense. It's really, I save that for defense and rebounding. They have to give it everything they got on defense and everything they got on the glass. Offense to me is more of a mindset. It's more of understanding the game, thinking the game, playing the game. I don't think you can like play hard in a certain way. I think you got to understand it, see it, flow it. And I think that's just kind of hopefully going to come with our growth and these guys understanding how to play basketball.
Did you feel like you grew tonight?
We did. You know, we at halftime, you know, whether they thought that we were going to go in and we're going to blow out everybody by 30 points in the first half and 30 points in the second half, I don't know. But, like, this is what you want. You want competitive games. You don't want games that go that way. It doesn't make us any better, you know. So, like, we had to relish the moment of, like, guys, this is great. We got a basketball game in our hands. We got big possessions. We got big shots, big rebounds, big stops. Like, and we were able to come out with a much better energy in the second half of, like, relishing the game as opposed to going into it with the expectation of, like, we're just going to win tonight. Let's go out and do our thing and get a job done instead of just embracing the game and just having every possession matter and count and develop and grow. So first half, I'd say I don't know. Second half, I thought we got a lot out of it.
I was thinking about this too, Coach, where I think defensively in preparing for a team, you always ask whom to guard, right? And we look back at your opener, and you had an explosion from Chris McNeil. Very quiet night from Chris tonight.
Yeah.
But you still scored it at a very good clip. And I think about them trying to prepare for you and asking that question and looking around and going, my gosh.
No question.
Where do we look? You can't look in any one specific place. Tonight it was Troy Simons with an unbelievable second half.
Yeah, no, that's the deal. Before the game, we say, guys, like, we don't know who's going to score tonight. It's how they're going to defend. That's all this comes down to. Tonight's not Sam's night. Tonight's not Chris's night. Tonight's not Dane's night. It's going to be what night they give us. Who are they going to leave open? Who are they going to help off of? How are they going to rotate? How are they going to defend ball screens? And then it's up to make the right reads and pass to the right guys for the open shots.
I want to ask you one other thing, too. I heard you on at least one occasion, maybe more, talk with Anthony Jackson about tempo in the offense and the way that he initiated things. What were you talking about?
Yeah, I mean, he's just learning to play point guard. You know, he played off the ball, and part of the reason he came here was an opportunity to play some point guard. So this is a growth process for him. He's played off the ball his whole career, and he was a dynamic scorer at Akron. He scored 1,000 points in 3 years. They played him off the ball. He's explosive. He can shoot. He's fast, and they just let him go. And it's tempting for us to do the same thing with him, but in order for him to kind of develop and grow as hopefully a professional player down the road, he's going to have to learn how to play point guard and feel the game and feel the flow and know when to push and know when to play and who to get the ball to. And it's going to be a growth process for him. And I'm okay with that, and he's okay with that. His attitude's in a good place. I'm probably a little hard on him sometimes, harder on him than I should be, particularly on offense. But we need him. So we need him to grow up, and we need him and Chris to be a really good point guard combination for us.
We've got to ask about your first trip back to the Pan Am Center. Coming up. Is this weekend?
Yeah, I don't know. I honestly have not put any thought into it. I've thought about Omaha for 3 straight days, and starting tonight, I'll start worrying about New Mexico State.
You were down there a long time.
No question, no question. And it's a special place. I had an amazing time there, and I'm hopeful we'll have a tremendous game.
Well, What kind of reception do you think you'll get?
Probably not very good.
Coach Weir, congratulations.
Thanks, man. Thanks,
Great
man.
win.
Thank you so much.
Okay, that's great stuff. Lobo head basketball coach Paul Weir. New Mexico defeats Omaha 103-71. Timeout. We've got to do something when we come back. Our State Farm Insurance assisted the game. Lobos defeat Omaha 103-71. Lobo basketball from Lear Field. 103-71 final. Lobos dominate Omaha in the second half and cruise to a 32-point victory. This is the Lobo Basketball postgame show, and it's time to select our State Farm Insurance assist of the game. When teammates help each other, great plays happen like this. Logwood catch the inbound. Feeds McNeil. Out high to Mathis. Right wing for a Simons three. You bet. Oh, man. The Lobos are on fire from three here in the second half.
Got a little rhythm going as that ball just swings around the horn.
That Mathis assist for the Simons triple, one of 21 assists on Lobos' 34 field goal makes. That is your State Farm Insurance assist of the game. Presented by State Farm. Get an agent that gets you.